everyone. Welcome to season 2 of the Refuse Ordinary podcast. We're so happy you've joined us. Today I have some very special guests. I have Miruna Veenhuis. Did I say that right?
Yes, that's
great.
Perfect.
Okay, so she's in level 3 of the School of Transformation. She came with her family from Canada a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have her here. And we have Nathan Taylor.
Howdy.
He's the level 2. He's the level 2 leader at the School of Transformation, as well as a pastor at the Father's House Church. So we're very happy to have you here today.
Very excited to be here.
Yes. So this Refuse Ordinary podcast season 2 is all about people's experiences with Jesus within the school, their testimonies, challenges they've experienced and had to walk through. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about something Miruna shared recently on a testimony video. She shared about how she's been a Christian for a while, but within her Christianity, she didn't really fully understand how to read the Bible and have the words change her life. And she found this out while she was walking through some hard circumstances, and she ended up freezing and not really knowing how to deal with it, even though she'd been a Christian for a while. And then coming here to the school, she's learned better how to read the Bible and how to put those words into practice. So, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
So, my question for you is what did that look like for you before coming here? Because I think that's very relatable. Like, I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So for me, I think, so for many years, I had given my life to God at a young age, and really grew in my walk with Him and my knowledge of who He is. And the last few years, especially before coming here, I had, I was living my life to the best that I thought that it should be lived as a Christian.
Yeah.
I loved God and wanted my life to reflect that in every way. But I started facing some really earth-shattering things in my life. And I, like you said, I just froze.
Yeah.
Like everything about me froze. Just really practically, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I didn't know how to function, I couldn't see hope. And I started really questioning God and, wondering, the wonder I had was, but I was giving you my all, I gave you my yes, why is this happening to me? And it really it shook my faith. It definitely did. But it made me realize that something's off here, because I do see people go through hard stuff. What do they have that I don't?
Yeah. Wow. So with coming here, do you feel like you found that why, or what was off about it?
Yeah. So coming here was interesting because from day one, you're fully immersed into the words of Jesus. You are in class, in sermons, in interactions with your pastors and level leaders. Everything they communicate and everything they do and every counsel you get, it's all filtered through what Jesus says.
Yeah.
And, he says a lot of things. He says a lot of hard things, and he says a lot of things, and he's very clear and detailed. And being here, you really see what it's like to be all in and walking his words out. So I think in the past, I just didn't know how to be all in. Right. But here, it's this is what his words say, and this is how you walk them out. So you're not questioning things that you're reading. You're not questioning, am I actually a Christian who's walking out the Bible? Yeah. Here, it's you are. Yeah.
Right.
Because there's your schedule is set that way.
Yeah.
Right?
That's amazing.
I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
Well, I think it's amazing. I think as somebody that's watched your journey from the beginning, been a part of your family's journey out of that hopelessness, out of that moment of paralysis that you were explaining, to see, how Jesus made a plan for you, specifically catered to your circumstances, but also, he wasn't hiding it as something inaccessible. He had made it plain and simple for us through the words that he left us in his Bible. But seeing you apply them to your life has really been inspirational to me.
Thank you.
And it's
That's
been
so good.
It's a great reminder of us for us all, is that his teachings can apply to every area of our life, every circumstance that we face. His wisdom applies.
Right. It's true. I would, before even, I didn't intentionally do this, but you feel like you can't, it's not black and white. You feel like, you can pick and choose what parts you can walk out, what parts seem possible. Yeah. But here you realize actually there's no gray area. It is black and white. Yeah. You read his words and you actually do it. And that didn't mean that everything was fixed and solved. Right. It didn't look like that, but I felt like I was actually becoming who I was created to be, which was listening to him and walking out.
Which is incredible that that is what caused you to feel like you're being who you're created to be. Because sometimes if you've, especially maybe grown up in church settings and stuff like that, it's like, how could that, I've read this Bible all the time. How could that, make me who I'm supposed to be? But it's cool how that was actually I think something you said in your testimony was how it made you come alive. Yes. Which is so not what you normally hear, that it actually changed who you are. Exactly. Too. Yeah, that's so cool. I why, I guess for me, in my walk with Jesus, I've also read the Bible and all this stuff. And I remember before coming here, in times when I was really struggling, I remember looking at my bookshelf and having all these Bibles and devotional books. And I'm I've read all of these and why do I still feel this way? Why hasn't it actually changed me? Yeah. And Nathan, in your experience, do you feel do you have a answer for that? How you can kind of have all this knowledge and taking all this stuff, but then kind of get into situations like that where you're this hasn't actually made a difference because it's obvious it's not evident at all.
Yeah. For me, the biggest turning point was this realization that, one, there are two covenants. Yeah. And when we pick up our Bible, often we forget that there are two covenants being offered. Yeah. And the Old Testament, the Old Covenant, doesn't apply to us as Gentile believers. It applies to a group of people who have a specific covenant with the Lord. And so what I was trying to do was I was trying to apply their covenant to my life. And I had those questions. Why isn't this working out for me the way that I feel it should work out for me? Yeah. And over again, it felt like I was hitting my head on a wall. But then when I just simply came to the realization, well, actually the new covenant is the covenant that's been offered to me as a new Gentile Christian, that I began to say, well, if that's the case, I should probably just do what Jesus is saying to do. Yeah. And it became so effective in my life. My faith, like Miruna said, it came alive. It started actually working for me, not out of this religious idea that I have all this knowledge, I can quote where Jesus said this in John or Matthew or Luke. Yeah. No, what it was this is the Lord of the universe speaking to me through this written document that he's left for all of us. When he says that he cares about us more than many sparrows, that's him talking to me,
Yeah.
telling me this is the Lord of the universe saying you can count on these words.
Yeah.
When in the Sermon on the Mount, where he says, if you build your life upon my teachings, then your life will be like a house built on the rock.
Yeah.
And the winds and the storms of life will come and your house shall not fall.
Yeah.
He's saying, look, if you get this, if you truly believe that I am who I say that I am the creator of all things, the word of God become flesh, you can hang your hat on what I'm saying. You can hang your life on what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you get that,
Yeah.
For me, it was like the confusion just lifted off. Like, oh, I can just trust what you say.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to try and figure out a formula. I don't have to pray a certain number of hours. I don't have to read the Bible a certain number of hours a day to be able to make this work.
Right.
All I have to do is say, well, he said it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to believe it.
Right.
He asked me to do it. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does it make it easy? No.
No.
But it makes it clear. It makes it, the confusion for me lifts off, and it becomes easy to understand.
Yeah.
You make a good point with the confusion, because I think that's what it was for me. Like, I was confused. Like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
And it's like you said, I think before I knew about Jesus and I wanted to know about Jesus, so I learned about him.
Yeah.
But since coming here, it's switched to, I don't just know about him, but I know him. Yeah. Like, I know his heartbeat.
Yeah.
I know his expectations. Like, I know what breaks his heart. I know how he wants my life to look like. I know what he wants me to do. I'm not wondering, is this, am I doing what I'm meant to do?
Yeah.
Right. And that really shifts everything, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. To actually know what he wants for you.
Yeah.
And not feel like you're constantly like wondering, like, is this right?
Yes.
Is this okay?
Yes.
Exactly. Where you're always that's where kind of the identity stuff comes in, where you're not quite sure where your boundaries are, like a kid that doesn't really know.
Yes.
They're not as happy as a kid that knows, like that type
absolutely.
of thing.
Exactly.
That's so practically speaking, I guess for both of you, like how do you feel like you would go from that, like switch from like, I read the Bible every day, but my life is falling apart and I don't know how to handle things, which, I mean, that's understandable, but like there's a certain, like, where now you feel more equipped.
Right.
So how do you make that switch of like, I'm reading the Bible and it's changing who I am and it's changing my heart? Like, what's the difference? Because it's not just reading more of the Bible, I'm guessing.
It's the switch. Yes, that's a very good question, because it's not just about reading more or getting yourself educated, but I think the switch is actually reading it and then putting it into action.
Yeah.
And here, like at the school, like you're provided with opportunity after opportunity of, hey, this is what the Bible says, so we're actually going to do that.
Wow.
So it says to give to all man that asks. If there's a need in front of you, you give. It says to seek him first, and then all these things will be added to you. Then that's what we're going to do. We're going to put him first. It's simply just reading it and then actually knowing that you're walking his words out is what I think shifted for me, because even right now, the circumstances aren't settled in my life. Like not everything is perfect, but I feel like I'm getting to a place where I'm confident that I don't believe that I'm going to be shaken up again if I face something, because his word also says that we will go through trials and it creates perseverance in us, and so I'm not going to be shocked or surprised, but I know that he's going to be with me, walking me through those things, right?
That's so good.
So I think that's like just a small example of what I've experienced here, is just not just reading his words, but seeing it in my life. And you mentioned something, like you mentioned, we sometimes put our identity in other things and what we do. And I definitely think before coming here, it was, what I was doing was never enough. It was like waiting for the next thing, or, prophetic words that I was given. When am I going to see that into action? Or when am I going to do the things I'm dreaming about, or the passions in my heart, or all of that? And because of some of the things I faced, I lost a lot of that, in a moment's time. So I came here really like, wow, this is so unfair. I've lost all my hopes and all my dreams and everything that I love. Like, who am I now? And recently I've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm seeing, no, like, man, I haven't lost my dreams. I haven't lost my hope, because Jesus is my dream. He's my hope. You know?
That's so good. That's amazing.
I would second that. Like, when we simplify our life to be, Jesus has bought me with a price. His sacrifice on that cross demands that I make a choice. Am I going to live for him or not? And when we choose, okay, I'm going to live for him. I'm going to be his disciple. I'm going to be his servant. I'm going to be accepted into the family of God. Then, we get to go to him. To be the sustaining force of our life. We get to go to him. And, when he says he will provide for us a stream of living water, he will give us the Spirit of God to dwell within us. And that's going to be enough to give us joy, peace, strength, all of those things, like the things that we need to face hard. The story of the prodigal son, how much better do my father's servants eat than I'm eating right now? It's like, if we would just be in his house, if we would just be committed to serving his purposes, we're going to have more than enough. We're going to be satisfied. We're going to feel complete. And the lovely thing about my job here at the school is I get to be a part of that journey, like especially Miruna's journey of you coming alive to the idea of, oh my gosh, he's going to take care of me. Like, because life gets real. You've had these beautiful children in your hands, your kids, and you're wondering, how is this all going to shake out? Am I going to be provided for? And when you had that revelation that he is concerned about you, that he loves you, he cares about your kids more than you can even care about them. And you had that revelation, I was like, oh my gosh, things are going to work out. That peace came over you. It's going to be okay. He's got me. He's going to take care of us because he cares. Because look, I read it. It's here. It's in his word. He says he's going to do it. And when you made that choice to believe it, it's like, that's when the dominoes start falling. It's like, that's when you started having confidence. That's when the circumstances started turning around for you guys. And that's what I mean by it becomes simple. It's like, we want some big formula. We want a 1 + 1 = 2 every time. But see, here's the secret. It's something simple, but I just have to trust Jesus. Right? Life's falling apart. I have to trust Jesus. Life's going amazing. I have to trust Jesus. I don't have enough. I have to trust Jesus. I have more than enough. I don't know what to do with it. I have to trust Jesus. And that's the formula. Right? And we as humans, we complicate it.
Oh, that's so true.
And it's a pleasure. It's so exciting for me to, see when people get that, because the truth is things really do change.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's so true. Like, we way overcomplicate things, and in reality, it just comes down to believing that Jesus is who he says he is. And we have access to that in the Bible, And so for all those listening, I just want to encourage you, if you feel like you don't feel equipped to face the hard times, or you're feeling maybe confused or unsure of like, how do I actually walk out my faith? I encourage you're welcome to reach out to us. And also, just while you're reading your Bible, believe it. Believe that Jesus is who he says he is. And that he is so good, and he is kind, and he is truth, and he absolutely adores you. And so thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Nathan and Miruna, for being here and sharing your stories and just inviting people into your journeys. And so thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the last episode of the Refuse Ordinary podcast. I hope it was both encouraging and challenging. If you'd like to find out more about these topics, or if you'd like to find out more about who God is and who He created you to be, we have 3 ways in which you can join our School of Transformation. First, we have our flagship full-time School of Transformation right here in Oroville, California. Next, we have our part-time school, which is School of Transformation Light, which happens on Sundays. And last, we have our School of Transformation Light on the Move, which is an online video series. If you'd like any more information on any of these ways you can take School of Transformation, go to transformationschool.org. Please stay tuned. There's going to be more upcoming seasons of Refuse Ordinary podcast. So see you then.